All right. Hello, everyone who is watching. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Picard. I am the Communications Manager for the Maine Department of Labor. And so today we thought we would get on Facebook and do a live session with the organizers of the Maine Hire a Vet campaign, as well as some employers, and just have a conversation about what the campaign is going to look like this year. It's virtual rather than our usual in-person events. And just have a discussion about what the campaign is and how you can get involved. So with that, I am going to, and this will also be recorded. And so if you missed the live stream, it will be on the Maine Hire a Vet website, which is www.mainecareercenter.gov/MHAV. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Autumn Maine, who is our Veterans Program Manager. Autumn.
Great, and thank you very much, Jess, and welcome everybody. On behalf of Maine Department of Labor and the Maine Hire a Vet partners, welcome to the Maine Hire a Vet 2020 virtual press briefing. My name is Autumn Maine, and I am a proud veteran of the U.S. Air Force. I'm also the Veterans Program Manager for Maine Department of Labor and Maine's Career Centers. In this capacity, I oversee the Veterans Program, and we have 10 veterans vet reps located at career centers across the state, and their primary mission is to help veterans with employment-related issues. I am very excited today to be announcing the launch of the 6th annual Maine Hire a Vet campaign. We started the campaign in 2015. Our goal was to place 100 veterans with 100 employers in 100 days. Fast forward 5 years, 1,321 veterans have been hired. 881 employers have participated. The average wages have actually scaled upwards. In 2015, the average wage for a veteran placed was $17.43 an hour. In 2019, the average wage was $22.78 an hour. In addition, we've had a little over 300 employer staff attend educational courses on Military Culture 101, 202, and other military-related trainings. I want to say that our success certainly hasn't been by accident. And in Maine, we've had so much support. And I want to start by saying it's really been part of our strength has been the statewide Maine Hire a Vet partnership and all of our sponsors from day one, 5 years ago. Success has also come from the supportive actions of our governor, our cabinet members, and the leadership teams across the state. Maybe more than anything, though, success has come from a highly motivated veteran workforce here in Maine. We are a very patriotic state. 10% of Maine's population have served in the U.S. Armed Forces. And that puts us in the top 10, actually, in the country for the percentage of our population that are veterans. And success has also come from an outstanding business community here in Maine that has proven over and over again, year after year, its dedication to recruiting, hiring, and retaining veterans. This year, as just mentioned, we're ready to rock and roll with the campaign again, but it will be delivered virtually. We will kick off on September 15th, and Dion will share more about that near the end of this session. But to date, we have just under 200 job seekers registered, and we also have just under 200 employers registered. And quite honestly, we expect those numbers to double between now and September 15th. So please, when Leo shares the information to get connected, to register, it's pretty simple. Please do so. We're pleased that the virtual platform hasn't scared too many people away, because these are similar to the numbers that we've had in the past. We're honored today to have 2 of our Maine Hire a Vet employers with us, joining us to share their experiences as campaign partners and also their experiences recruiting, hiring, and retaining veterans as part of their workforce. And we're going to start with Guy Langevin from Dead River Company. And we're going to have a conversation with Guy, but I'm going to start by introducing him because we always like to embarrass our speakers, and he has an amazing background. Guy is the Chief Administrative Officer at Dead River Company. In this capacity, he oversees human resources, information technology, legal, safety and risk management, strategy planning, and business optimization. Guy is a well-respected business leader and an Army veteran with an extensive background in workforce development. Recently, Guy was nominated to the chair of Maine State Workforce Board. Thank you, Guy, for that. Under Guy's leadership, Dead River has gained attention and applause for its best practices in recruiting and hiring veterans, including earning the prestigious Hire Vets Medallion Award from U.S. Department of Labor in 2019. In addition, Dead River has participated in all 5 of the previous Maine Hire a Vet campaigns. Last year, Dead River hit the Maine Hire a Vet top 10 for the number of veterans hired during the campaign. So I'm welcoming you, Guy, to this Maine Hire a Vet 2020 press briefing. And my first question to you, please tell us about the Dead River Company and what prompted your interest and commitment to recruiting, hiring, retaining veterans.
Thank you, Autumn. And yes, it's a little embarrassing with the introduction, but thank you. So Dead River Company was founded in 1909, so we're over 100 years old. Family owned still, and we service every corner, every community in Maine. We employ about 1,200 employees. During our peak season, winter, we provide oil and gas to customers, to residential and commercial customers, to heat their homes and businesses. And there's it's typically a very close relationship with our customers. They rely on us to make sure that their homes are heated and warm, regardless of the weather, Maine winters, and nor the time of day. So our motto at Dead River Company is delivering on a promise. And we take that very seriously. And so we started focusing on veteran hiring. It goes back years. We've always had an affinity for hiring and recruiting veterans, but we probably took a lot more focus when the Hire a Vet campaign started, and we saw some of the success that we've had back then. We have, what we find is that our motto, delivering on a promise, and that our commitment to our customers really resonates with service members and veterans that who are mission driven to serve, and we've found that they make some of our best employees. I think 12.5% of our workforce is veterans have served, and we're proud of that. And we're very proud of our Hire a Vet Gold Medallion Award that we got from the United States DOL.
That's great. Thank you very much. And as you suggest, Guy, it's really important to be warm in the winter. So definitely an essential workforce there.
Yes.
In your experience, Guy, and maybe you covered this a little bit, but what do you think veterans bring to the workforce? What makes them exceptional, if you will, or why would you target hiring them as a population?
So I think given 2020 and the pandemic illustrates that employers need a workforce that is adaptable to changing environments. That is certainly what veterans bring as part of their training. They're trained to adapt and overcome the biggest of challenges. They're independent thinkers, yet make the best of teammates. They're reliable. They work safely. Highest of integrity, and you can rely on your veteran employees to be doing the right thing, whether someone's watching or not watching. You can count on them to rely on them to be safe and be doing the right things all the time.
Great, thank you, Guy. What strategies have you used to recruit, hire, and retain veterans at Dead River?
Yeah, so we stay very actively involved in any veteran hiring initiatives, particularly the Hire a Vet campaign, but any others that we find across the state. We specifically market ourselves as a preferred employer to veterans. We've partnered, we have strong partnerships with nonprofits such as Boots to Roots, who actively works with transitioning active duty military in finding jobs to live and work in Maine. And they've been a terrific source of talent for us. Another nonprofit we work with who helped us actually market specifically to veterans is Live and Work in Maine is another entity that we've worked with. So, and the Hire a Vet Gold Medallion actually has helped us to identify us as a preferred employer for veterans nationally. So it does get us some recognition that works for us and helps us to attract this segment of the workforce.
Yes, great. And actually, as a follow-up to that, so Dead River was the only company in Maine last year to be awarded the Hire Vets Medallion from U.S. Department of Labor. So you've mentioned that it's certainly given you some credibility there with veterans. What types of eligibility requirements did they have for that award?
So there were several different criteria. The two primary ones that just kind of the point of entry into this award is no less than 7% of your workforce in a given year needs, or let me back up, no less than 7% of hires in a given year need to be veterans. And that's actually a very challenging number because we don't have an active duty military base in Maine. So we're not getting a lot of transitioning service members like you would if we were based in a state that had an active duty base. So anyway, the other is retaining 90% of those hires. And that, I'm sorry, 75% of those hires. Our number was 90%. That's why I had that. We retained 90%. But the threshold for of 7%, we just barely made. We had 7.3% is what we hired in our given year. So we just made the threshold. I will say that that was for our 2019 award. When we applied again this year for the award, that number went from 7.3% to 10.83%.
Wow.
We picked up 3.5% better, which is very significant. We attribute this to some of the efforts that we've put in place to help us attract veterans.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So moving ahead and looking forward, we're in this COVID time of sort of challenging time with a lot of workers working remotely. I'm not sure how that works with the type of labor force that you hire at Dead River. What do you see for the year ahead? What might you say to job seekers that might be watching this session today?
So we are absolutely essential workers. That the bulk of our workforce is essential. People like me are considered less essential, but we take. If you think about what we do, we go into people's homes as well. During a pandemic, it's an added challenge. So we take our health and safety very seriously. Our customers rely on us for that as well. So it's an added challenge, but it's one that we've been able to to overcome. Our hiring has not slowed down. We are still looking for talent. What I had said earlier about the adaptability to change, veterans, we can teach them our industry, the particulars of the industry. They are very, what we refer to, they have high learning agility. They can pick up and whatever we're trying to teach them, and we're willing to make those investments. But we certainly have lots of opportunities. In particular, our primary jobs are, we have CDL drivers who deliver our products, and we have HVAC technicians who are more technical. They work on the equipment. We have needs for both of those. Those are state and national shortages in those positions, and great opportunities if you can get that, if you're willing to put in that training, as well as corporate positions within accounting, IT, and other areas. So lots of opportunities, and always looking to bring talent into our workforce.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Guy. And we're going to turn to Adria Horn at Tilson Technology. But Guy, if you have any last thoughts, we'll come back to you after.
Terrific.
Something bubbles up while you're listening to Adria. So now it's my turn to talk about Adria Horn. Adria serves as a vice president of workforce at Tilson Technology Management, which is a national high-growth telecom company on a mission to build America's information infrastructure. In this position, Adria oversees HR, talent and recruiting, safety, marketing, and design. Adria graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York in 2001 and served as a military police and psychological operations officer while in. She deployed 5 times in support of the global war on terror. 5 times, wow. Adria is a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserves. She holds an MBA from Northeastern University. In her previous position, she worked for U.S. Senator Susan Collins. Appointed by Maine Governor Paul LePage, she served as the director for the Maine Bureau of Veterans Services from 2015 to 2018. Adria is married to Loki Horn, a South African native, and together they have 2 young daughters, Ava and Juliet. They operate a sheep and a yak farm in Pittston, Maine. Please welcome Adria to our virtual press briefing today. And Adria, first question to you. Tell us about Tilson. What prompted your interest and commitment to hiring veterans there?
Well, thank you, Anna. Appreciate it. It's hard to follow Guy's award-winning presentation, but I appreciate that. I am honored today to talk about Tilson and also to talk about our efforts to hire veterans and continue to support the Maine Hire Vet campaign's efforts. They are near and dear to my heart, which Ada, you know personally. So Tilson is, as we said, a high-growth telecom company. And so in layman's terms, we are building the infrastructure that gives us the internet so we can have so many virtual meetings. And that is really important today, actually.
Yes.
Families going back to school, telemedicine, the virtual uses and the need for internet are more important than ever today. So as Guy was saying, his workforce is an essential workforce. Ours is also an essential workforce by a different definition. So it's interesting to compare the concept of essential amongst this pandemic. So that's a little bit about Tilson. We are a national company. We have about 600 employees. Just under 200 in Maine, and our headquarters is in Maine. Over half of our workforce right now is actually working from home, and the other half is actually in the field doing essential services work, still maintaining cell phone towers, building new networks. supporting the expansion of 5G in major cities. So there's a lot of opportunity in the telecom industry right now, certainly more than before. And we were high growth before. We are high need right now. I would say that concept has changed a little bit because of the environment. But what prompted our interest and our commitment to hire veterans? Well, Josh Broder, our CEO, is an Army veteran and was the 4th employee at Tilson, actually. I've been around for about 25, 26 years now, and we operate still as a startup. Very high collaboration, lots of teams working together, brainstorming to solve hard problems. And oftentimes we're solving hard problems that are like the first time our clients have ever had to solve this type of problem. And Josh did this type of thing while deployed in Afghanistan, actually building the same type of networks we're building in America while deployed in Afghanistan. So he knows sort of firsthand how the work actually is chaotic, and sometimes the people are, not really knowing what they need or how they need it. And he knows from being deployed in this environment how resilient and just adaptable, like I was talking about, this learning agility, this being comfortable in chaos and being highly committed to safety, both of which are 2 of our core values. And he hired me. He hired me as a veteran to continue making this a stated effort and initiative for Tilson, so that as we grow and maintain this pace of growth, both in Maine and nationally, that hiring veterans was part of our mission to do so.
Wow. Well, it was a very good hire for him. Happy to have you in the workforce out there, Adria. Yeah, I love that term, learning agility, as well. And I like how you sort of differentiated between high need and high growth. That's another interesting way to start looking as things have changed. And also that 50% of your workforce is working remotely. Wow, so those are some kind of takeaways for me. Adria, you did already talk about this a little bit, but what do you think veterans bring sort of uniquely to the workforce? You mentioned, I think, resiliency and the learning agility. What else? And why do you go after this population?
Well, one of the things I had mentioned was our core values. So safety is one of our core values. So oftentimes, if you're thinking about, risk and exposure, those in the military are taught to think about safety, risk, and exposure from day one. Like, there is not a person who's not served in the military who's heard the term, everyone's a safety officer, right? That is, yep, lots of nods and smiles. Everyone's a safety officer. It is not easy to make everyone who hasn't served in the military think that way, actually. There's an evolution to adapting your own sense of safety and your own individual accountability to enhancing and maintaining the safety of yourself and that of your team, and that for your project, and then for your client. And having that mindset when, for us, we are often working at very tall heights. We're working on towers. We have people who are climbing 250-foot, 500-foot towers. So every decision that you make at, ground level is fine if you screw up. But if you screw up and are scared or are flustered or are not thinking clearly at 500 feet in the air, the actual result could be deadly. And so we really find that veterans in particular have an incredible natural awareness of this personal and team safety that just really increases the overall safety of our entire company. That is really important for us. This decision-making at different times and feeling accountable for those around you is really important. I will add, I said composure is important. So one of our other values is comfortable in chaos. Veterans typically are relatively comfortable in chaos. It's, one of those things that they've had to do. Hurry up and wait, I could like name a whole bunch of sort of military specific things that, you know, get a chuckle because you've heard them before. And it's just one of those things you get used to. And so you become comfortable operating in the gray. And a high growth company that is growing while also being a high need company is shifting and pivoting and almost building the bridge as they cross it. And I think military veterans are naturally, whether they can articulate this or not, are actually naturally better at navigating those spaces because they've had to do them. The military's actually forced them to do some of that. So we find that to be really of value.
Excellent. Thank you, Adria. And what strategies does Tilson use to recruit and hire veterans?
Like Guy, we have taken advantage of all of the resources really here in Maine. We've certainly been a partner of the Maine Hire Vet campaign, and we are very appreciative of the work that Boots to Roots does and the team of Jen Fulmer and Bill Benson. We also nationally have partnered with Warriors for Wireless, which is a nonprofit that trains tower technicians as they're separating, and Airstreams Renewables, which is a company that trains separating service members almost outside of several bases and gets them into a 4 to 6 week wind turbine technician or tower technician training and teaches them what they need. And we frequently, almost I would say twice a month, we're doing presentations to military veterans exclusively through Airstreams Renewables and have a really great partnership with them and appreciate that. That allows us to really get people from all over because when you go from active duty base, which Guy rightly pointed out, we don't have here in Maine, and then you go to off base, your next step typically in the military is that I'm going to where the job is. And so the concept of being relocated for the work that you've now trained for is a pretty easy sell. So we really find that people who start in some of those programs end up in New Mexico or maybe in Bow, New Hampshire or someplace else and are in the state or maybe doing work in Maine separately. So all roads lead to Maine is kind of how we feel about that generally.
That sounds right to me. Adria Tilson was in the Maine Hire Vet Top 10 last year as well for the number of veterans hired during the campaign. What does your workforce look like in the year ahead? You have said that you're definitely still hiring. There's a need. What would you say to job seekers out there who may be watching this today?
Well, I would say a couple different things. One is that I think the employer landscape has changed. For Tilson, it's definitely changed. We're not seeing some of the turnover that we had previously that was really, I think, from high or low unemployment. I mean, so there was more opportunity for people pre-pandemic to go like upscale their job. Maybe they were leaving where they were because they were getting a promotion and going to another company. I don't think those moves are happening as much anymore because there's a much higher induced unemployment rate. So I would say for job seekers for Tilson, stay connected to watch our website. I mean, I see almost 4 new jobs posted from our hiring managers every single day. Don't be afraid. We have 45 jobs posted right now. 15 of them have listed Maine as the primary work location, but that doesn't mean that has to be the first work location. And what I mean by that is if you're interested in working at Tilson and you want to work in the telecom industry, or you want to start in a high need industry that will definitely be high need for at least the next 10 years and make that your skill set leap, apply for a job, even if it's outside of your location. Don't let your location necessarily drive where you are, since most people are working from home. Like, look for some other opportunities that get you in the door to have a conversation, and don't let something scare you. Because I think employers are definitely, Tilson, more often than not right now, we are having conversations with people we never, ever would have had conversations with 6 or 7 months ago.
Wow.
And that's wonderful. It's really given us opportunity to talk to people from all over. We've actually had a couple of people come from out of state who have said, well, I'm working from home now, so now I can try and make it work in a different way. I can start working from a different place and then still work and make my way to Maine. So it seems like the path is actually a little bit easier. The other thing I would say is for almost your previous question was the SkillBridge internship. We started a SkillBridge internship for active duty separating service members and have loved it. We have loved taking advantage of the fresh, exciting mindset of somebody who has the security and the safety, and who hiring managers have like an open palette of someone to work with. Like, no matter what you do, you can't go wrong if you start with a SkillBridge internship. This has been a wonderful opportunity for both transitioning service members and Tilson, and teaching our internal hiring managers the value of taking on a transitioning service member right from the start.
Thank you. Thank you, Adria, so much. And thank you, Guy. You've both been a wealth of interesting information, and thank you for being outstanding companies in Maine to our fellow service members and veterans. And so very much appreciated. Do you have any last thoughts, Guy, having listened to Adria?
Well, I think Adria will agree with us, but in just listening to this last part, we're often thanked for our efforts that we make to hire veterans, and I think it's great. It's very gratifying to give someone an opportunity and a career, but we get more from hiring the veteran than they probably get from us. They help us differentiate from our competitors who don't focus on hiring veterans. This segment of the workforce is, as I hope we both have described, is just a wealth of talent with the skill set that every employer needs. So if you're an employer, you really should be focusing on this segment of the workforce. And if you are a veteran and considering, you're transitioning or considering a career change, please consider Dead River Company, and I'll speak for Adria and Tilson as well. So anyway, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thank you again. Thank you for your time. Thank you. And now it is a pleasure actually now to introduce Leo Dion. He is a veterans representative at our Lewiston Career Center. He is also the co-coordinator of the 2020 Maine Hire a Vet campaign. And Leo is going to share some information about how you can get hooked up and registered for the kickoff event next week, among other things. So Leo, I'm going to turn this over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ada, and Guy and Adria, thank you both for being here. Great information, and thank both Tilson and Dead River for all their support, past, present, and future for the Hire Vet campaign. As Ada said, I'm Leo Dion. I'm the Veterans Representative. I serve the Central Maine region for the Maine Department of Labor, co-coordinator for this year's Hire Vet campaign, and I am also a retired Coast Guard Chief Warrant Officer. So on behalf of my colleague, co-coordinator Mark Cafiso, the entire Veterans Representative team, and the Planning Committee, we're proud to bring back the Maine Hire Vet campaign, albeit in a virtual sense, as we've said, as we promote hiring the right veteran for the right job right now. So what can you expect this year as we are virtual? Well, first and foremost, to conform with the Maine State and CDC guidance, all events are going to be in a virtual format, preferably Zoom. We kick off the campaign with an opening ceremony at 11 a.m. on the 15th of September. Shortly after, the hiring event will run from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The opening ceremony, in addition to the general campaign event information, will include remarks from Governor Janet Mills, Adjutant General Douglas Farnham, Commissioners Laura Fortman and Randy Liberty. Our gold sponsors, along with veteran and military spouses, will be providing insight from the job seeker's perspective. The hiring event will take a slightly different approach, as the veteran and non-veteran job seekers will receive a list of all participating businesses along with their contact information in advance of the event. On the day of the hiring event, employers will have members of their talent acquisition teams immediately available by phone, email, and virtual platforms possibly. Those job seekers will be able to connect with the employers at that time. These lines of communication will be staffed between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. And interviewing and hiring actions will be at the discretion of the employers. Employers will, of course, actively pursue hiring based on their business needs. Additionally, we have aligned numerous employment workshops, panel discussions, and veteran resource sessions, as well as presentations from and for employers. These events will occur throughout the 100-day campaign. So now you're asking, how do I participate? If you're an employer or a job seeker, all you need to know is mainecareercenter.gov. From that website, you can hit the Maine Hire Vet link. It will automatically direct you to our Maine Hire Vet campaign homepage. You can view the schedule of events, register as an employer, or register as a job seeker directly from that site, such as employers like Dead River and Tilson Technology have already done. So thank you both for registering and being a participant this year as well. Speaking of the employers, though, I would like to recognize and thank our gold sponsors, General Dynamics Bath Iron Works, Veteran Education and Transition Services, along with our silver sponsors, Maine Bureau of Veteran Services, Maine Department of Corrections, Destination Occupation, and Northern Light Health, as well as our bronze sponsors, Hancock Lumber, Reed & Reed, and Moody's Collision Center. And I will put a plug in. There are also some opportunities left, so don't miss out on being a silver or bronze sponsor if you'd like. So if you haven't registered, there's still time. Registration for both employers and job seekers is open right up to the day of the event on September 15th. So if you're a job seeker, don't miss out on this opportunity to land your dream career or upgrade your career. And as an employer, join us and hire the right veteran for the right job right now. Thanks, Autumn.
Thank you. Turn this back over to Jess.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us and for that conversation. Like I said, this video will be posted on the Maine Hire Vet webpage if people weren't able to join the live stream. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Thanks for setting us up. Take
Thank
care,
you,
everyone.
Andrea. Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.